We take a look now at the role of the arts and that sector shaping resistance during the days of apartheid, and we continue to reflect on what freedom is and how the arts played a role in attaining the freedoms that many still say they do not enjoy in present-day South Africa. Tshepo Mashiane is the founding member of the Creative Congress movement, and he joins us for that conversation. Thank you very much, Tshepo, for your time this afternoon. Maybe let's start with that question, right? What does freedom mean to you in 2023?
Sister Dudu, thank you very much for the opportunity, and good afternoon to you and the viewers of Newzroom Afrika. It would seem as if we have the same script with all the people that have been interviewed, but the truth of the matter is that it means little this day, because even the industry itself is in total despair, distress, and little that is done to be able to respond to the needs 29 years later. And you're correct, Sister, to the fact that the creative industries and practitioners were a strong front, by the way, leading up to the democratization, if you like, of this country. And they played a key role in ensuring that whilst there were differences, but we would rally around and behind one message as a society and a nation. And I think that has been actually muted, which is why you'll find that the state of affairs, even in the creative industries, is not that one would be proud about, and it's one that requires for an in-depth analysis and actual honesty by the creative practitioners themselves, to say what is it that has got to be done to change their situation. Because as it is, I think it is in line with all South Africans. And I don't want to speak about the creative industries as if it's a vacuum. Remember, the creative industry is made up of citizens of this country, and it were millions of those citizens who put themselves forward to make sure that this country, become what it was supposed to, which is not. And we are here today, and we are all lamenting all the sad stories that you would hear from one province to the next. Citizens across, including political parties, saying one and the same thing. So there certainly is not, joy around having this day. It's another day that people, probably have to call it a voting day. It was important in 1994 for people to go and vote, but it's not necessarily, it's got nothing to do, so far as I'm concerned, with the freedoms that people have to enjoy.
You speak of an industry in total distress. Where did it go wrong?
I think there has been a lot of, messaging of hope that, post 1994, the industry had actually embraced, messages about the freedom charter and that access to education and culture, doors should be open and so forth. But we have not seen that. And those are actually messages that would give one hope. But it does not seem like people at some point, particularly practitioners, ourselves, would have taken an opportunity to continue to review whether or not are we really achieving this, hopeful situation that is created in our minds and our hearts. And I don't think that at this point in time we have got to be too time about it. We just have to deal with one matter, that we were part of this whole situation we've created for ourselves. We have been part of the 29 years. And the question that therefore becomes important is, how do we not do things in a manner that we have been doing for the past 29 years? And I think for me that is a big question. I think we've lost the plot somewhere to do what is right for this industry and for the citizens that are particularly, are within this particular industry. So we can blame the situation, but, we are slaves of hope. Wherever you are, hope is created. But at some point, You need to face the reality of what really is not, becoming of what you are hoping for.
You spoke of one message as a society and a nation pre-democracy. Post-democracy, what is that message, right, that the creative industry rallies around? What is the national identity of South Africa?
You'd remember, Sis Tutu, that at some point we spoke about the South Africa that we love, South Africa that we yearn for. South Africa that, we knew that we were coming from a very difficult period. And you remember that the creative sector also led a process where there was a song that was embraced across the country, and I know beyond South Africa, which called on South Africans, to love this country and to be able to lead their own spaces where they are. But of course, that message, was, if you like, there was a detour, by those that continued to, provide oversight. And in this sense, I'm talking about government, about creating that particular and leading that project of a united country that is loved by all South Africans. I mean, we know that, at this point in time, people wish for things that, I cannot be able to articulate here. They wish that they were not in the state of affairs. They wish for this and that. And that in itself means that we've lost the plot, the project that we had agreed upon, the messaging of one South Africa that everyone loves, really is the one that was compromised. And I must say that all of this is done by a few individuals. And I've listened to residents in different provinces. And you can hear that all that they're saying, is that let's organize ourselves. The time is now that we organize for ourselves to be able to lead our own trajectory. 29 years later, we can't turn a blind eye to the realities of what they talk about. I mean, no access to food, no access to water, no access to jobs. And this is a reality for creative citizens of this country.
What do you say to a leadership that says, well, we've experienced so many years of oppression, and so give us a little bit more time. It's going to take us a little bit longer than just 29 years to turn the tide.
Well, I think at the center of it, they must also be able to provide practical relevance of what is it that which people should look forward to given the state of affairs. I mean, one of the things that, we've got to be realistic to, it's about the issue of governance. I mean, as an industry, the creative industries and citizens in general, and many that I've met, by the way, to date, would tell you that I think one of the things that we have done or not have done was to be able to be agents of change whilst it was still early. For an example, we know that, this industry has been led and governed by people whom we have questioned in terms of their ability to change or understand this particular industry. So I think what needed to be done was to be able, to consistently look at whether this project we're looking at or looking forward to of a united South Africa led by this one message, is it possible? Is it happening? And if it was not happening, to quickly change that. I mean, it's about governance. How do you make sure that anyone who comes into leading this particular industry, somebody whom you can hold to account because they understand the depth and the challenges that face this industry, not some deployed, individual who really does not know anything about the industry, to an extent that they have served terms, 5 or 10 years in office, but there's no change. So I think we really need to call what it is that we are facing and be able to say, how do we change that? We have been failed by the governance of this particular industry. And I think people must be able to say what is it that they can offer beyond what is currently a reality of our people.
Thank you very much to Tshepo Mashiane, the founding member of the Creative Congress Movement. Thank you.